Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 190. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and today, once again, I am joined by Charlie. Charlie, what's up?
Not much. You know, just chilling.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
If you guys want to catch this podcast live, you can go over to twitch.tv/Enigma911. You can drop a follow over there. You'll get notified when we go live, so you can join in the fun and the conversation with us. But if you can't catch it live, that is A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, any way you can support the show, like, share, subscriptions, reviews, whatever it is. It may seem small, but it does help the channel grow. So you can do that. If you can do that, we would love and appreciate you for it.
If you don't, probably still love you though.
Right, yeah, you know, a little less, but yes. At least you're spending your time here with us. And time is the most valuable resource.
It is. It's finite. And it just never stops, man.
It's true. And I hate it because I keep losing it. But yeah, today we got some fun topics for you guys. So I wanted to pick Charlie's brain about some of his hobbies.
Can we keep it inside my head?
I mean, I guess so.
All right.
I don't know how that's going to translate on screen or through the audio medium.
Yeah.
But, you know, you do you.
Twitch might have something against, the removal of the skull.
Oh, I don't know. Have you seen Twitch lately? There's something like
Possibly.
It is a way different
It's
website than it
Halloween,
used
right?
to be.
You know,
Yeah.
it's visual
Spooky. Woo. For our first topic today, I wanted to talk about Minecraft. Last time you were on, we talked about your gaming history.
Right.
And I feel like we definitely talked about Minecraft for a bit.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to delve deeper into it. And, just see what really clicks with you with Minecraft. So, I guess just to start, our history with Minecraft. Oh boy, I don't remember the year, but we were late to the party.
I thought the same thing of like, what year was that?
Yeah, but we were definitely late to the party. I can't remember what first tipped us off. Was it Nolan talking about it?
From my perspective, it was you.
It was me.
I had not heard of Minecraft. I've never seen anything. I've never had any introduction to it at all.
Sure.
And then you were like, hey, I've got a game I think you might like.
Okay.
So
yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while. We're old. But whether it was a friend or maybe it was Achievement Hunter, I don't know. But I remember seeing Minecraft. We finally tried it out.
Yes.
We were crashing at my place. Parents were out of town, so we're like, hey, whatever, we'll hang out, play games, chill, the usual. So we finally tried it out on Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for 2 days straight, that was like all we played. We played until like 5 in the morning, got a couple hours of sleep, and then delved right back in.
Woke up.
Yeah.
To the game again. Like, I gotta go to the bathroom, I guess. I need some food, but I'm coming right back to it. Like, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna be right back.
Yeah.
And this was the time. I don't remember what it was, like what version it was, but there was like nothing special. It was like cobblestone. You had your wood.
Yep.
Apparently there was redstone somewhere. We couldn't find it.
No
fucking clue.
We thought we needed that for our torches, and we're going insane.
Because there wasn't like go into the menu and see all of the options and like here's the recipe. Like no, it's just like there's the world. Go find stuff and see what you can do.
Yep.
And just make the tools and do the dig.
Yep.
So that's what we did. We just ran around and got lost as fuck. And it was the Xbox 360 world, so it was only so big by so big, and we still got so lost. We're like, my house is gone forever. I'm not gonna find it ever again. I'm gonna make a new one.
Yep.
That was a really good time.
It was a very steep learning curve. Like, figure out, okay, you need the beds. What do you need to even craft anything? The crafting table, figuring out that opens up all your options. We already talked about the torches, thinking we needed the redstone, but no, you just need the coal, or if you wanted to be a barbarian, the charcoal, or whatever.
Right. Like, there was no forum of, like, so how do I do, what's this?
Yeah, I think we tried looking stuff up, and that's what got us on the redstone path. We're like, oh.
Torches, and then redstone torches. Like, well, yeah, I want a torch. It's red. That's weird, but, like, I guess I need light, so that's what I gotta do. And then we're like, well, we need iron to get to the redstone. How do we fucking get this? How do we do this? I don't even remember how we figured out, like, that we needed just regular torches.
Right.
But it was like
a light bulb moment, yeah.
Yeah. But
so yeah, we started with that, and then once we finally at least got some kind of bearing,
grasp.
Could we play online? I think we played online as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we built our world. I had my giant dirt house.
Everything was dirt except for that one room where you put the lava.
Yep, and then I had the lava moat into the waterfall. And then I made a farm, and I had all of my sheep and shit just like
tiny little pen
in. And then I figured out I could dye them, so I was like, oh, rainbow sheep. And then you took it just to the next level and made like your castle in the mountain and like just
spiral staircase.
We were finally smart enough and built a path in between our shit.
We got so lost so many times going back and forth. Like, hey, I've got materials. I need some of your materials. Like, how do we fucking get to yours? And then especially at nighttime when all the mobs come out and they're attacking us and we're like, fuck, no, shit, no.
Yeah.
Just trying to dodge just to get to the other person's place. So, like,
definitely.
You started making that road.
Yeah, so we made the path in between. And yeah, it was like night and day of your build and my build. I'm like, oh. But yeah, that was a fun experience diving into you for the first time and like learning everything. And then, yeah, you kind of just took it to a whole new level.
Kept going.
On your own.
Yeah.
So yeah, what kind of inspired you to start up your creative world? Because when we played initially, we were survival.
Right.
And we were like, I remember jumping to that. We were like, we'll try medium or whatever it is. So we're just getting slapped left and right.
We could not survive like more than 5 minutes.
So we ended up adjusting it to easy or whatever. But yeah, you jumped into creative, and what kind of started that for you?
Well, you've played Sims.
Yep.
So Sims originally was supposed to be an architecture game, and it was just a 3D modeling thing, so you can build walls and see what, kind of roofing and stuff you can do. And they're like, hey, we can put people in there and make it kind of a simulation, kind of like this. So I really liked Sims for its architectural thing. That's why I played Sims. And then I never played with the people, When I did, it was like trapping them in the pool because it was funny, But Minecraft really was kind of just, I can make rooms and I can see like how far I can go and dig down and make this something that looks pretty. I can take this hillside and turn this whole thing into a nice little house and garden, and there's waterfalls and all sorts of things. And like, cool, I've finished that house. Like, why don't I just make another one? And I've got a neighbor, and there's another neighbor, and like, well, these neighbors need a place to buy groceries, so like there's a grocery store. And like, just thinking outside the box of, if I were to try and create a village, you come across the random villages that are out there in the world, and they've got their little sprawling thing with their little paths and stuff like. So I just kind of duplicated that with my own tools and mind, and where I was going with it was one step at a time of like, what do I want to do next? And then I would kind of just going around, like, I'd build a house, and I'd build another house, and I'd build another house, and then I'd kind of need to support those guys. And then I was like, I'm going to go over here and build a little bar, because they're all going to want to be working or whatever they're doing. And then I had a gap. So then I was like, cool, now let's connect it all, So then I would have like a pre-planned neighborhood that I would go through and put like this, you've got a picture right here of an above view where I've got a gap, and then I filled it all in with colored wool. So I use the colored wool. I usually use orange to indicate buildings, and it's obviously a color that is so obtrusive to everything that I don't want it there. It's visually, displeasing, but it's there so that I can see that I want to do something, and I can kind of help myself visualize different things that I want to do. And then I'll use green for parks and like open spaces, and then blue I started using so that I could kind of have it like a different, so I could differentiate myself between, like, I want to have these be residential and I want these to be commercial. So that I was kind of thinking, like, this is a commercial district. I'm going to put as much stuff in here as I can and have the whole thing surrounded by residential. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff in this place, in this one world that I want to say I started in 2017.
Probably, yeah.
Somewhere in there. Whenever the Xbox One came out, I think it was just after that, like maybe a year or two after that, they offered the Xbox with Minecraft. And someone bought me the Xbox with the Minecraft edition, and I just played the crap out of that. And I started that world, and I just kept going with that world.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have it today. And this is the one that I've constantly been working on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made other worlds, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I get bored of creative mode a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So then I'll go and challenge myself with some survival. And like, cool, I know what the materials are and where I need to get them from. And then I'll, you know, how far can I get? How long can I go without dying? And like, sometimes it's pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's compared to the days of when we started.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, I couldn't go, you know, outside the house without dying or getting blown up.
Yep.
But then you kind of ask the question of like, why do I use creative versus survival? And it's more so that I can fly, because scaffolding is a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
The bamboo is fantastic. If you're going to be in survival mode, using the bamboo scaffolding so you can actually extend out and go over, it's a great tool. But I don't want to take the time to do that. Like, I just want to be like, cool, here's all of the material I need, and bam, 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 bam. Oh, you know what? I want to switch that out. Go. And I don't need to go make tools, and, you know, I need to find material so that I can make this colorful and have it, you know, I can just go through the menu and, like, cool, I've got this, like, purple. Nah, it doesn't work. Blue? Yeah, blue works. So, like, I like that about the creative mode. But then I think my favorite thing about creative is I can be in there and I can do whatever I want, and I'm not getting killed. I'm not getting blown up. You know,
sure.
Creepers aren't popping up behind me, and like I've spent hours on this thing, and then bam, there goes 3/4 of it. Like,
Sure.
off.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna walk away for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was really kind of deterring. Of like, I'm in survival mode, and I'm like, cool. I want to, you know, I've got this survival shelter dirt hole in the ground. Like, it's got a door on it, and like I can survive in it.
Yeah.
But now I've got a lot of material. I've got to expand a little bit. So like, do I want to just make my hole bigger, or do I want to build a house? So then I'll go outside and I start building a house or whatever, and then I turn around and bam, there's a creeper, and then bam, there's another creeper. I'm like, dude, I'm so like sad about, like, I just spent so much time.
Sure.
All my material's gone. My chests are gone. Like, I lost all my experience and all that shit. So like, it was kind of like, I'll just go to creative mode. You know what? So then I just dove deep into that, and it's culminated into this here. I have taken a video. Let me a second here.
Yeah.
So it's at the end of this. This is kind of like the farming area, because I was like, I've got this larger area, and these people need sustenance, but you can't really farm all these goods in the city. So then I made an aqueduct. That's that big gray thing coming down. Like, it literally has a reservoir. This water goes all the way through it. I can shut it in individually. Like, if you don't pay your bill, I can turn it off on you. But there's all sorts of farms in there. There's just a random field. There's an observation tower. There's distribution. There's a fish place. There's a bar. There's a yoga studio. There's some restaurants. These are nice houses over here. A couple of these are tutorials that I made. I followed and made.
Sure.
And a lot of them are just random things. There's a whole university right in the middle. That was going to be a church, and now it's a library. I've got this huge, whatever it's called, courtyard looking thing, but it's a big ass one. I've got some planning over here with the orange wool. I've got some more planning over there with the orange wool. These ones, those row houses there, that was a tutorial, and I just duplicated and made them again. I made my own aquarium. I've got the whole pier with all the people on there. There's a restaurant there that overlooks this. I was trying to make some sort of like campground looking thing over here, but I just can't figure out how I want to do it. That's the city hall. This was the old power plant. This is kind of the area that I originally started with. That little building right there where the crosshairs are. That is where I originally started. That was the first building I made in this world.
Oh, wow.
And I made those little bridges out from there, and then I made staircase down, and I was like, well, cool, how do I get up and do this? So like the reservoir and those bamboo things over there, like that's the new power plant. And that's the kind of municipal area. They not control, but they've got the access to all the resources and provide it to the city. And, you know, I've gone through, I've made a few buildings, and then I'll come back to them, you know, literally years later, and like, you know what? I'm gonna redo it. You know, I'll just go through and kind of remodel it, or I'll just completely destroy it and start over again. And there's a whole neighborhood that I made really quickly, and it was only because of some materials I've never used, and I really wanted to test out what I can do architecturally and like what's gonna look good visually, and like I think I completely failed at what they look terrible, but it helped me learn.
Sure.
You know, so like I didn't fail, but I look at it like, that's ugly.
Sure.
So I want to go tear this little section down, and it's actually right here. You've got this other picture right here. So that's the city hall in the background, the white building. It's got its little terraced garden, the little fountain there. Like that's all kind of municipal property. So you'd want to walk through this area. Like think of it like this is the center of town kind of thing. That little tunnel right there off to the right that goes out to the beach.
Oh, okay.
And then this red thing off to the left here, that's an umbrella.
Okay.
Covering a lifeguard's seat over a public pool. And then that little brick building with the cobblestone roof. Behind it is one of those terrible buildings that I just made and was like, this is ugly. You know, and that's a little square right there that I kind of want to tear down. And I don't know what I want to do with it, but remodel it, you know, make it different. And I see so many other people make these worlds. And I think of like how, like, they've got cities. You know, they've got skyscrapers and like dozens of them. Like, that, holy crap, that's a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, you know, I'm watching them make them and go through them, and they're literally, like, copy-paste, duplicating, like, whole sections. You know? They made, like, 1 or 2 floors, and they're like, boom, boom, boom. Like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess that's one way to do it. And they also have a computer that's playing this, so it can render much faster.
Sure.
As where I'm playing on the Xbox, and if I fly too fast, like, I come up to blankness.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I can't go too fast or too far. I can't put too much in there. I try to make everything that I can functional, but there's a few things, like I make some tools, I'll make some machines that, like, you know, there's one section where there's this giant mine and I've got it all mined out and there's all carts and stuff going through there. Like, it's someone's job to go down there and be a miner. And there's a crane that will pick all the stuff up and put it in this facility that will crush it and process it. So I've got these machines that would literally, it's just pistons going back and forth.
Sure.
But, like, it's supposed to be a crusher. If I have all of them on at the same time, the Xbox just bogs down so much. And I'm like, I can't even, like, go in the menu to, like, change some settings and, like, look at whatever I want to look at without it being like, okay, so I'm going to shut those off. And, like, I figured out that you can't have maps, too many maps open.
Okay.
Because what you can do with the, what are they called? The thing on the wall where you can put stuff in them. Item frame.
Oh, yeah.
So you put an item frame on the wall, and you can put a map on the wall. I'm like, that's awesome, you know? So then what did I do but take above view maps of my city as it grew, you know? It was really cool to see the buildings kind of appear and, like, watch and look at the line, because, like, that's awesome. I love maps.
Sure.
So, like, this is how I'm thinking about it, and then now I can visualize it. So I'm putting the maps all over the wall, and I had this giant one. I swear it was, like, 16 by 16 individual maps. And I was just sitting there, you know, I had all the maps on me, and I just went bam, 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 and I put them all in order, and it looked fantastic. And then I went to back away, and the Xbox crashed.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, God, okay, that's too many.
Interesting.
But I also had, like, a 4x4 over in the library. I had a 2x2 in the university, and then I had a couple over here, like, in someone's house. I had one over here, I had one over here, one over here, and then I had this 16 by 16 map wall. And I was like, the Xbox just can't handle that much.
Sure.
Because what I did wasn't just maps, it was the locator maps or whatever. So I don't know if they were following me. Like, if you looked at them, if you were looking at them, if my icon was moving around on them or something.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know what was going on, but, like, I just couldn't handle it. So then I took all the maps out, I took the machines out, and, like, it kind of sucks that, like, there's so much in the world that I was toying around with. I'd had redstone machines that would just, I would sit there for days, and, like, I would just work on this one circuit. Of like, it's close, but, like, what if I fuck this off and do that and go this way with it? And, like, awesome, wait, but that really is cool and works. And then I can't leave that machine running.
Right.
It just, I can't do anything else.
Yeah.
So, you just brought up another photo here.
One quick sidebar I'd like to bitch about. Maps suck. Maps were good when we first started. They made sense.
Yeah.
And now there's like, oh, you have a level 1 map. Oh, you have a level 3 map. Fuck you. Just give me a map.
And what's the purpose of the level 1 map? Like, what am I going to do with that?
Yeah, it's a tiny square. Just give me the big square.
Like, what am I going to do with that, really? How much of the map do I really need? I mean, if I'm, like, deep underground and I'm trying to navigate some tunnel, I guess, that's the only applicable thing I can see it being good for. But, like, level 4 is, like, I always upgrade the maps.
Yeah, you have
always
to.
upgrade the maps to a level 4 because, like, it's so pointless to have it so small. Like, you're just way too zoomed in.
Yep.
Way too zoomed in. But you brought this other picture up here,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a nighttime shot. And I tried making it as visually pleasing as I could. So one of the problems was I had this world in creative mode on hard. So I had as many mobs as I could possibly have running around, and I tried popping lights up so that they weren't populating within the city.
Sure.
Right? So I was trying to you're fine to be outside the city, we'll put defenses up, we'll do whatever we need to do, I'll tower defense the shit out of this. But the middle of making this, I was doing the streets and whatever, and that was the moment where they were like, cool, now zombies can be in the water and pull you under. Like,
oh yeah,
what the fuck is this shit?
Yep.
So I literally swam through the ocean and just put a shit ton of those sea lanterns.
Yep.
And I illuminated that water so they weren't populating within the water. Because I'm walking along the edge, I would, every so often, I'll just pop into survival mode and try and go through a building. Like, I can't fly.
Sure.
And they'll be like, oh shit, I forgot a whole set of stairs. Like, I can't, you get caught up in the moment and you're like, wow, here's a whole nother story. Here's another floor and here's another room. And like, how do I get to that? I can't even open the door. I put metal doors because I wanted them. They're nice. Like, oh yeah, I forget the buttons.
Yeah.
So like, I'll go into survival mode. Like, is this functional? Can I use this?
Sure.
And then I was getting attacked by zombies coming out of
Random
the water. I'm like,
fuck!
what the fuck is this?
Yep.
So that kind of pissed me off. So like, and then I went through and I just put lights everywhere. But even like on the outside by the ship there, that whole harbor is illuminated. Underneath the pier is all illuminated because I don't want them popping up underneath.
Sure.
And the aquarium is all illuminated, and the aquarium is also connected to the ocean or the waterway.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've had so much fun with this world, and it's not only this area here. I mean, I've taken the boats, I've flown. If you go straight ahead down this road here, there's this right in the middle, right there.
Yep.
There's a road that goes all the way up, and I made it. There's 3 different things with it. On the top, there's I don't even know what it's called, pathway, and that's kind of like where the horses run. And then next to it is stone. So then you've got 2 different surfaces, so the people can walk on the right and the horses can walk on the left or run.
Sure.
Underneath that, it's literally like a double highway here. Underneath that are 2 tracks, so that minecarts can go through, so that I can get there faster. I can transport goods, and I can now I've established trade with other villages because I found other villages, and I'm like, cool. Well, now I'm gonna I made a train station at one of them, and then I'm just connected to them. And it's funny because everything's working as much as I possibly can. Everything's connected to the harbor and whatever. I'm over in the harbor one day, like, cool, I'm gonna walk over here and there's a villager inside the minecarts at the thing. I'm like,
hello.
You're from like 2 villages away. Like because they're all different, right?
Yeah.
I had an Arctic guy in my harbor. I'm like, where is the Arctic village? I literally flew away, and it was like 2,000 blocks away.
Dang.
Like, holy shit! Like, you just got in my cart and just went for it, buddy.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome to find all that stuff, and I've built up a few spots over there at those villages and kind of claimed them, whatever. And on the other end of the town, so from that video we were watching.
Yep.
If you come from the farms, if you go out the farms from behind us, there's a whole pathway and there's bridges. I've got archway bridges that are pretty neat, that just randomly go out into the wilderness, and then I happen to come across a village. So now it's connected to that. So now I'm trying to figure out what can I put at the end of those towns to have trading posts and stuff like that, and kind of establish things. But in the middle of this, where that road ends, there's literally a little hub. There's a train station and a horse stall, and then that's right next door to a farmer's market, giant farmer's market that's all covered, and there's individual tiny little booths that you make your goods miles away and you come here to sell them. So you've got this tiny little nook where you've got a whole bunch of little chests, and you're just like, cool, what do you want to buy? And what are you buying? What are you selling? So it's just pretty neat of thinking about it in a city sense, and then being also you have to have the rural aspect of it, because there's not everyone's going to want to live in the city. So there are a few random houses that are just there. You know, I just stopped one day, I just double tapped A and fell, and was like, cool, I'm gonna build a house here. Yeah. And then how do I connect it back to the city? So there's a witch's hut out in the wilderness randomly. It's just close enough, but just far enough away. So I was trying to figure out how to make warning signs, and the new sign update, I don't know when that was, there's a new update recently where they've changed the signs you can do. So like you used to have them, they were just posts.
Yeah.
And then they added color to them. And then now they can be hung this way or they can be hung straight up and down.
Oh, okay.
So they're pretty neat. And I was like, that's awesome. So now I kind of want to stick some over there of like missing child or something like that. Like the witches like stealing the children and like.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't played in quite some time, so I've seen like they've added certain animals or mobs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy just what they keep doing, and it's great that they keep doing it.
How many years later?
Right. Yeah.
I just saw something today that on the Minecraft Instagram, they have it looks like a gray white shark.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Like because what is in the ocean to really be a mob? Like what's going to attack you in the water?
Oh well.
What's going to attack you in the water are those zombies.
Yep.
Or if you get too close to the underwater monument, those whatever the freak those things are called.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what they're called. They're annoying as hell though.
Yeah, it looks like a.
It looks like a giant weird squid
cushion.
thing.
Yeah.
But those things, those are really the only predators out there. Mm-hmm. So like a great white shark.
Right.
That's kind of scary. I don't really want. I don't know if can they eat the whole boat. So I'm gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
kind of mentality, but yeah, I've spent so much time in this world. Mm-hmm. And I'll play Minecraft maybe once every 2 months, once a month or something like that. Mm. And I'll come back to it, and sometimes I'll do, a day's worth of work. I'll spend a couple hours working on something, and like, it's funny because I'll go a couple months in between, and I'll come back and like, what the fuck was I working on?
Sure.
Like I've got so many half finished projects. I'm like, what do I want to work on today, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And this was one of them. You just switched over to this picture here. This is like a courtyard kind of thing. I intentionally set it down because it was a hill, and I didn't really want the gradient of the hill. I didn't want the subtle slope. I just wanted to make it a sheer wall. Mm-hmm. And I put the stone brick there, and I was like, it kind of looks ugly. So then I just changed up the textures, and I added some shelves and put some flowers, and I was like, cool, I can put some waterfalls in there, and like those are the row houses. Like, so that's somebody's tutorial. Right. Somebody made that, put it online, and we're like, hey, this is my house. And I was like, awesome, thanks. So I made one, and then I made 4 of them. And then I made one that was like slightly bigger. I kind of just elongated a few of the aspects of it, and it's all the way down the other end. But each one of those is like 3 units, or 2 units. I think they're side by side, actually. Oh, okay. You got 3 stories to yourself. Sure. But they're tiny, tiny little areas. But some of the houses I've got, they're so. If you could actually have functionality to them, they're so functional. Like it actually has a bathroom, it actually has a garage, it actually has multiple bedrooms, a kitchen with all the things you need in it. It's got a basement, and it's got all sorts of stuff. And then some of them, like these ones here, it's a tutorial. Like it has a bed, right, and it maybe has a cauldron. So some of them make sense. Some of them absolutely are just like thrown in for aesthetics. I made one that looks uglier than hell. But it's got 3 loft apartments in there. One of them I completely furnished and put a whole bunch of stuff in, and the other 2 were like open, and I want to put like a for rent sign out front. Like, why not? Yeah. So, kind of fun. And one of the cool things like I like about this is you can't functionally make a car. Right. Apparently you can in other versions, and I've downloaded stuff like on my Xbox where you can have cars. It's weird. I have no idea how to do it. I don't really care to. Sure. But I've made this world where it's all walking or horses or boats. Like there's no cars because the cars don't exist. Right. So like everything, they're small paths. So all the buildings can be nice and tight and interlocking really well. And I think it's more fun that way. Otherwise, I'd have to make these big roads, and I'd have to have giant intersections, and everything would be so spread out, and like kind of like having it nice and compact and on top of each other like that. It makes it a little bit more fun, and it makes making the rural houses more fun because I can still see the village and it's way over there, but I'm still like right over here having fun with this little house. Right. So there's quite a few things in this that I've made and just completely destroyed, and I've duplicated this world so many times so that I can literally like, you know what would happen if I blew it up? So I've destroyed this world also, but I've got like the original one, and then I've duplicated it, and then I've completely destroyed it, but I've got multiple duplicates. So it's funny to go into like the latest one, and then go into another one and be like, where's that building?
Oh, sure.
And because I didn't update it, I didn't, then I'll have to delete those duplicates and then make new duplicates that everything's updated.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. Like, I'll go into the one by accident and I'm like,
uh-oh.
Something's missing.
Yeah.
Where's my church?
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, if you could you guesstimate how many hours you put into this?
No. The amount of hours when someone says they've done something is staggering to me because I just don't understand. Like, did you spend 2 hours a day? Did you spend 9 hours a day? Was it 24 hours a day? Did you not sleep? I've started this world in approximately 2016 to 2018, somewhere in that time frame.
Yeah.
And it's now, 2023?
Right.
I've spent
years.
Yeah. Like, it's been years since I've started it, so, like, the amount of hours that I've actually put into it, I swear to God, it's a good solid, like, week of time, just from beginning to end of just staring at the screen and constantly working with no breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a lot of time.
Yeah. I don't know if Xbox tracks your time. I know PlayStation does with their games.
I've never seen a tracking on there.
And sometimes I'm like, oh God, I spent 200 hours in this game. Oh boy. Like, I think Apex Legends is probably one of my highest with like 500. I'm like, bruh. Come on.
It adds up quick.
Yeah. So circling back, you mentioned the planning with the wool.
Yeah.
So what is that process like for you? Like, going from just an outline, do you visualize the whole building when you're doing this outline, or how is that creative process for you? How does that unfold? Because, like, a lot of artists, obviously, they can visualize things right away, and they, like, start with a loose sketch, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, I don't know where you're going, and then just magically after some point, you're like, oh shit, it's this. How does that creative process work for you?
It works a couple different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some times where I'll come into an area and I'll see, like, this one hill and the tree in the background or whatever it is, the way the sun's hitting it. And I'm like, bam! Like, I visualized a whole structure right there. I'm like, okay, now I've got to make that.
Sure.
And then there's other times where I'm like, well, I need to fill in a gap. And I want to put something here, but I don't know what. So then I just start laying out wool. And I'll just, like, 10 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks. Let's go 4 blocks. Okay, let's go another 5. I'll take a turn. And I'll make it random shapes, as you can see here. Those ones there, I had absolutely no vision other than brick. I want to make them brick buildings. This actually is still vacant. I don't think I have anything.
Sure.
The blue off to the left,
yep,
that is a post office. I made that a post office. And then the blue in the middle is something.
Okay.
And the blue, oh no, I think the blue in the middle is vacant. I think the blue on the right I made into a hairstylist, which is actually, like, one of the coolest things I made. It looks really functional. Like, you really could pull the seat away, sit down, and, like, use it. You know, there's even a little waiting area with magazines, magazines as much as you can put in there. But the orange areas, there's obviously 4 of them. I wanted to make it an apartment building, and I wanted to do skyscrapers.
Okay.
I wanted something that was going to be overlooking the harbor, because if you kind of go down a little bit right here, you've got the aquarium off to your left, and straight ahead of you, you're looking right in between the Ferris wheel and the harbor. Okay. So you've got a view of the ocean, but you also have a view of the pier with the roller coaster, the Ferris wheel. There's like a hammer game. I think there's a balloon vendor over there. And then off to your right, you've got the harbor, which has got like 3 ships at it. And one of the ships is a tutorial that I followed and made the giant ass ship, which took forever, you know. And I wish I had the computer where I could turn that kind of thing. But anyway, with the buildings here, I wanted to make them like the 2 in the front towards the harbor, the ones in the top there. I wanted to make them a little bit taller, where they were kind of like, that's the one I want, you know, like that was the ideal spot. That was the one everyone would want to go rent.
Sure. And
then the ones in the back were a little bit more of like a retirement community. Like, you're still up on the hill, you're still kind of secluded from everybody, you're still within the walking distance of all the cool stuff, but like, you're not really caring about the view too much.
Sure.
So I really wanted to go with a general theme of building material and height, color, and all that stuff, but I didn't really know where exactly what I wanted to do with them. So I threw the what's it called? Wool. I threw the wool down. I put the green space in the middle. I've got the brown. I'm using brown wool to have some paths or whatever.
Oh, okay.
There's some gray wool in the back, up in the tops,
Sure.
on the side there. Those were going to be like overlooks or outlooks or like concrete parts, something that was going to be a little more permanent looking. And then the green space, obviously, in the middle, that's going to be as many plants and trees and stuff as I can, is all grass, living space. But those orange buildings there, I just really needed to fill in a gap because that's on a hill. Mm-hmm. So the blue area is maybe 10 blocks lower than the orange areas.
Sure.
And then the orange area, it really is within like 2 or 3 blocks of each other height-wise.
Yep.
So that was all kind of flattened out. And I wanted to put something there to be next to the aquarium, and then I've got a nice commercial district across the street here. Mm-hmm. There's a big restaurant right there to the right. So I wanted to have someone that's going to be like right there. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that are going to be living downtown. They're the ones that are going to be walking to the places. They're going to be ones doing, working from home kind of stuff. And this is really what I was thinking of right here. Like, these were going to be like the apartments.
Sure.
I was thinking of doing like, instead of multiple apartments per floor, I was going to do whole floor apartments.
Oh, okay.
And then do like 2, 3, 4 of them on top of each other.
Yeah.
I was even thinking of making the top 2 like I don't know what it's called, where it's multiple stories of an apartment. Like you would find in like New York City or Chicago or something like that, where you own the top 2 floors, and like I think that'd be pretty neat to have like a very extravagant, elegant looking thing up there, where you've got a great view of everything around you, and that's you're gonna pay top dollar for it, kind of thing. So like I was just kind of like, cool, I'll make a basement, I'll put all the boilers down there, and then maybe I'll even make like a weird sewage drain looking thing that goes out into the water and make it like, yay, we're rich, we do whatever we want, like.
Sure.
So like, there's a few funny things in here of like, it makes total sense of like why I would do it that way and make it as efficient as I can, make it look like as efficient as I can, and then other times it's just like people being people.
Sure.
And the lore, I think you and I talked about this one time.
Oh yeah.
Where we went through and I was like, yeah, these 2 neighbors here are feuding or whatever. I literally, as I was making the house, some of the houses, not necessarily these ones here, but I was making the houses, and I've got this one wall in between, and I was like, it's because these guys don't like each other, And then I've got a couple houses that are like almost connected to each other because like they're fantastic, they love each other, they're at each other's houses all the time. They even put gates in their fences so they can get back and forth, and they're just making the lore.
Sure.
It's so funny. There's no villagers in there. There's no people in there. I mean, there's a few times I've literally taken the spawning eggs.
Oh yeah.
And just put a shit ton of villagers in there. And there's beds everywhere and whatever. And they've taken over. There was a lot of them. Even so many that the iron golems started popping up. I had like 3 or 4 of them like at a time. And I was like, okay, all right, you're really annoying the shit out of me. Because they don't attack you. They're just in the way. They're leaving all the doors open. Like, okay. All right, guys.
And they sound like Squidward.
I didn't really care about the noises too much, but it was more so like, well, I didn't care about their noises. It was more so like the doors were constantly like, I'm trying to work on something. I'm trying to think, and I've got like 30 villagers up my ass. Yep. Go away. Yep. So then I literally went and I think this is when the crossbows came out. Started just shooting them. I had iron golems coming after me. I'm like, I'm flying. So I'm above them, just shooting them, trying to kill them. It was hilarious. Mm-hmm. I had a villager extermination episode that I made.
Yeah.
Like, no construction happening at all. I just went on a murder rampage. But that was fun.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say is the most difficult aspect, or has been the most difficult thing in building this giant world?
It's gotten better over time,
sure.
But starting off with limited material, the color,
like the palette, or
the palette of colors that I had to work with, that was available to work with,
sure,
was so minimal.
Yep.
It was so just, if I wanted some color, it was just so bold and like, here's color.
Yeah.
So like it was just really, we only had concrete.
Yep.
To work with, or terracotta, which is like fancy colors and like patterns and stuff. Like I don't really want that.
Yeah.
So now, like, oh, you've got wood in 7 different colors, 9 different colors, whatever it is. Yep. How many ever colors of wood you've got? Like, that's fantastic. And then different styles of fencing and different styles of door. It wasn't just one door that was just different colors. There's different color. There's different shapes of the doors, and like obviously the shape is fine, but the style of door.
Yeah. Like even with the wood, you were mentioning like you could do the planks, you could do the stripped wood, you could do just the tree itself. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also you've got the door, you've got the gate, you've got the hatch, and you can put the hatch in multiple
different directions.
I've used that as walls. Yep. Like the hatch being walls is so fantastic because now I can make things even more compact. You know, that takes up a block, and I can still walk through there. Like that's it's really helpful of them trying to like go a little bit deeper into like here's a different thing, here's a little bit more, here's a little bit more, and there's a few times where I'm like, all right, I've got enough of cobblestone, dark slate cobblestone. Like I've got so many blacks and grays to work with, but give me some like yellows and greens and something like that's not like bold yellow. Here's bold green. Here's you know, here's sapphire blue. Like no, give me like a something a little bit. Tone it down just a tad, you know, and they've worked on it. Fantastic. They've done a great job. But first, starting out, you'll see some of the first houses. They are just so bland and all one material. Yep. But that was I had to learn like okay, you need to switch up the roof a little bit. Okay, now I need to like maybe I should put some pillars in there that are a different material. Like maybe I should put like a 2-tone wall in there and like. Maybe I can do like different walls, and I even did some that the walls are double or triple thick, so that I can make like recessed windows, or I can have like an interior paint scheme, and the exterior all looks the same. And like, it's difficult because then once you start making walls 2 or 3 thick, you've got to make your house much bigger. That way, it's not like I've got a whole way to meander through. So like, I still want a full size bedroom, a full size kitchen. I still want a full size basement looking thing. But now I've got this giant building that's like, oh my goodness. So like that's pretty challenging of like I can't have a 2-tone block. One block can't be 2 different colors on different sides. Of my choosing. Some of them are, it depends on how you put it down. It looks different. Yeah. I mean, I'll use the smithing tables, the crafting tables, I'll use chests, I'll use the barrels as the decorative piece. Because it looks good from the side or from the top or from the bottom. It all depends on how you put it down. It looks different. But if I want one side to look like wood and I want one side to look like concrete, I can't do that. So now it has to be too deep. So I can look like wood on one side and stone on the other side. That's a little challenging. That's definitely harder because I've only got so much room to work with. So then I try to sit here and visualize, I've got this orange area. It's 10 by 30 by 5. What can I do here? And then I got to thinking, like, I want to go up. I think I've got a good foundation. I want to go up. That way I can kind of look out over. And right now I'm challenged with what do I put on the outside and that's going to look good on the inside. And I went with brick. I want to go with brick for these ones. But I can't do solid brick walls all the way up. It's going to look so goofy. So I'm going to have to figure out like what I want to do with the corners, and do I want to put wood? Do I want to put anything else? So I've tried to figure out what's going to work together. And there's this one building, there's this one building that has, I told you about it earlier, where it looks so bad. It looks just awful. But I was trying out stuff. So this one right here. Can I zoom? No, stop. Pause. Oh my goodness. This is the 3 apartments. The 3 loft apartments. So one is, I tried using different material on the roof so I can try to make it different tones. I tried using different materials on the siding, so it wasn't necessarily just flat. It had texture to it, I tried using stairs so that it had a lip. But I did too many stairs, as you can see. So it's everywhere. But there's windows in there, and then I even put like a little bit of a lip in there so that it's not like a straight line. you look at real buildings, like very few of them are squares or
Right.
rectangles. You know, a lot of them have a curve. Look at just the layout of an apartment. You know, it's never really a box. Here's your box and here's your room.
Yeah.
It always kind of overlaps a little bit this way and kind of sticks out. You're like, why is this room bigger than that one? Like, why would you do that? It just makes it harder on yourself to build it, but it looks so much better from the outside.
Sure.
It looks so goofy when you make a square thing, and like that's all we made
Yep.
back in the day. And I wanted to go a little bit further into that.
Yeah.
So like thinking visually of like coming over the hill and seeing like that building, like I want to put that there.
Sure.
That restaurant, the restaurant off to the right, I saw that in my head and was like, I want to put a restaurant on top of that hill.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at this picture right here, there's some stilts that go down. I've got this deck that goes out. It's 3 stories. The kitchen's on the bottom floor. I literally have a dumbwaiter elevator that goes up to the wait station, so that the top floor is 15 max, I think, tables, and then the other one is like 20, 30 tables.
Okay.
And there's like a private balcony one on the top. It's very small. You can only fit 2 people on the balcony on the top, so it's a very private little area. But like I was out working on the harbor, and I turned around and saw the sunset over this hill, and I was like, yes, I saw the restaurant. So that was one of the examples of where like I saw it, now I need to make it.
Sure.
And these ones here, I need to fill a gap.
Yeah.
So I usually use the wool to either measure stuff or fill a gap.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to measure it out so that I can see like what's going to fit in here and how I can make some shapes, or to make sure that I'm counting right, because I've built so many buildings where I've like, this one's 13 long and that one's 15 long. Why is the, and then the roof doesn't match up? I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
So like I'll use the wool. I'll put the wool in place. I'll build the building 2 or 3 times,
Right.
because I'm putting wool down first, just to make sure that it'll measure out.
Yeah.
And it'll look good. And I'll use the orange wool so that it sticks out of like, is that the shape I want to go for? You know, I'll zoom out. I'll look at it from different angles of like, okay, maybe if I go a little bit higher, if I go a little bit lower, instead of using the real material that I want to go with, the original, the end material.
Sure. Okay.
So I'll use the wool so that it kind of pops out and I can see it differently from everything else.
Nice. So through your process of building, has there been a material that you like working with the most?
Cobblestone.
Okay.
I'm not cobblestone. Stone bricks.
Yep.
I love stone bricks. And there's quite a few times where it's such a go-to that I'll be in the menu and I'm like, cool, I want some wood and I want some stone brick. No, like the neighbors have got it, they've got it, the streets have got it. Like, let's try something different, you know.
Sure.
And I'll go intentionally grab like marble or deep slate or something like that, you know. And I'll pull another material into my palette and I'll build the building and I'm like, stone brick. I'll go through, delete stuff, and I'll put the stone brick down, you know. And it's just, it looks so good. It's so original. I've got it everywhere, and it's one of those materials that, like, in the real world, it kind of is everywhere. If that was one of the materials that, like, would be asphalt.
Sure.
You know, it's in everyone's driveway. It's in the road. Some sidewalks are made out of it. It's all over the parking lot at your buildings that you go to buy stuff at or visit, you know, the hospital or doctors or whatever. There's also so many concrete places, foundations everywhere. You know, so it's just a material we see all the time. So like it makes sense. It makes sense to have it there. Like at the bottom of this picture, so you can see that I've got the pathway. Yep. You know, the pathway is on the ground, but it also goes deep. So that's a whole, if you look at it like a cutout, it's a cube of stone brick. So the railings are stone brick, the floor, the ceiling, the walls, you know, everything is all stone brick there. And then I've got the church that's all stone brick, and like there are some buildings that are completely stone brick other than like the windows and the roof. Yeah. And there's other ones where I use it as just the pillars or just the railings, but stone brick. Once I was able to figure out like a little bit of depth with it, and make it look more than just a gray with black lines on it, I fell in love with it. All the way up at the top where the reservoir is, there's these black buildings with bamboo growing in between them. Those ones are one of the ones that I was like, I want to make those out of stone brick, but I've got it everywhere. And like the whole platform that I built the area on is all stone brick. So I was like, I really don't have stone brick and stone brick.
Sure.
You know, so I had to switch it up there. And it looks good. That's one of the areas where I like it. I like that it contrasts against each other.
Yep.
And it looks really good. But if I used stone brick, it would have just been like gray. And like you wouldn't be able to see the depth and what it was really until you kind of positioned yourself in an angle where you could see something else other than just gray.
Sure.
So that's one of those materials that it's so versatile. It looks so strong and structurally sound. Like you can just build whatever the hell you want with it.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
The whole pier, what's it called?
Yeah. Pier, boardwalk, whatever.
Boardwalk, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's a boardwalk that's made of stone.
Yep.
I was laughed at that. I was like, I'm gonna have a boardwalk. Make it out of stone.
Stonewalk. Okay. And then I guess my final question: would you ever venture over to the PC side of things and try that stuff out? Because obviously there's a lot of like the modding community has added a lot. There's obviously a little bit more freedom with like the processing power that you talked about.
Right.
And then obviously there's a whole nother layer for me specifically when I'm thinking about like a Pixelmon, like a Pokemon Minecraft amalgamation or a combination type thing. Like it just opens a whole nother avenue.
It's funny that you say that. It's funny you ask this question because I'm 32.
Sure.
It's 2023. Mm-hmm. This is my computer. Mm-hmm. I don't own a laptop. I don't have a tower. I don't have a PC. I don't have a MacBook.
Sure.
I mean, I have an old ass one, but
sure,
still technically works. But so outdated to probably hack in a second. It's something that I would have to invest into.
Absolutely.
So like it's almost like the new Xbox just came out, the new PlayStation. That's $400, $500, $600 I've got to drop to get this unit that only does this. Mm-hmm. So like, okay, with a PC, with a computer, I would want to have something that's going to be a little more versatile. I personally like a tower and a screen versus an all-in-one. Yeah. Just because of the processing ability, the upgradability, I can do a little bit more with it. Mm-hmm. And then I'd have to have a desk. I don't even have a desk right now, like where I would have a spot to sit and do that with. Where I had, at my parents' house, we had several computers, we had desks, all sorts of stuff. I've had laptops. You just sit there with a little lap desk on there. You got your laptop. You can sit anywhere. You can take it anywhere. Do whatever you want on it. But it can only do so much. It can only process and power so much.
Sure.
So to go through a PC, I think it'd be awesome. Mm-hmm. But it'd be an investment.
Absolutely.
And I just don't really have a need for a PC at this moment. Everything I need to do, I can do from my phone. Yep. And if I need a computer, which I haven't come across an instance, knock on wood, where I can't do anything on my phone. Yeah. I've got so many people and access to stuff where I can just be like, hey, can I just really fast? Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
But like, I think it'd be really cool. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be so much cooler to be able to do something like this instance right here with the wool where I want to make it multiple stories. I could just make one or two of the floors and then just copy and paste it and make it as high as I wanted to without having to physically go around and be like, oh shit, I made 112 instead of 13. Like, fuck. Mm-hmm. And then have to undo everything and go back up and do it again, It makes it a lot easier.
Sure.
The creative mode in there seems like it's like God mode compared to what I'm able to do on an Xbox.
Sure.
I think it'd be really neat to be able to play on it and do it. It'd definitely be a challenge to relearn everything unless I would connect a controller to it.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Because I've learned so much.
Sure, muscle memory.
It's like muscle memory of like, cool,
Yep.
I'll just do it this way. But I think it'd be pretty cool to do it with a computer. Yeah. Mm. That'd be awesome.
Sure.
I think I could save a lot of time and expand the world quicker, I think, if I had computing power.
Sure.
I think what my limit right now is computing power. Mm-hmm. Because just the Xbox can only do so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being able to build some of the machines and stuff like that and leave them running, Sure. I've got a lighthouse in there, like I'll just go turn it off because it's like, cool, now you're bogging me down, but because the machines just run no matter where you are. Like, why am I so slow? I'm thousands of blocks away just exploring and flying around and doing whatever and like
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've got my maps. The maps are all open over there, and like the icon must be moving or whatever it's trying to process. Like, why I'm so far away?
Sure.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't have a couple pistons doing a couple things at the same time, of like building some stuff and opening menus.
Yeah.
It's so funny. There's a few times where I'll hit select because you can see your hands.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes where I want to see my hands. And there are other times where I don't want to see my hands. So I'll go in the menu constantly and like turn that on and off just so I can see something. I'm like, cool, okay, yeah, I'll build some stuff. And then I'll put my hands back.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I like to turn it on and off.
Yeah.
But I'll hit start or select, whatever it is. And wait a moment.
Sure.
And there's the menu. Okay, now I can navigate.
Maybe.
Load. Okay, there. Now loaded. Like, holy shit, slow sometimes.
Right.
It's funny how it bogs down so much. I'm like, I used to do so much with Roller Coaster Tycoon on that computer. What was like the parameters of that computer? It was just such a, in today's numbers of like gigs and processing power, of like, it was just so minimal.
Right.
But Roller Coaster Tycoon ran so smoothly.
Yep. Your rides could go. You got all the people walking around.
Yeah.
Yep.
But here I can't have like a couple villagers hopping over in the corner trying to get over a fence and a piston in the background and a map open without going like, jeez.
Sure.
So like, yeah, I think a computer would definitely alleviate a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
If the Xbox was upgradable, if I could like, just a couple more gigs of RAM or some shit, like.
Yeah, and I mean that is the nice thing. Like we talked at the beginning, like how you've been able to take this world from 360 to the Xbox One. I don't think you have a series yet.
No.
Okay, so I assume you would eventually, if you wanted to, be able to do that. But obviously with the PC gap, I don't think that's available. So at least for that purpose alone, at least that's nice that you can keep progressively upgrading your stuff that way.
Right.
So there's that at least.
Yeah. I'm definitely a generation behind on the console.
That's fine.
But like, I have no need for it. Like,
sure, yeah.
What do I play but Age of Empires, Minecraft, and I can't even remember the other name.
Sure.
Dynasty something.
Oh, not Dynasty Warriors.
No.
It's
it's a free game that you get through the Game Pass.
Sure.
And it is you don't even download the game. You stream the game.
Oh, you're doing that.
So it's kind of choppy.
Yeah.
You're streaming a game, but it's a fun game. You know, I enjoy playing it. And it's so weird to me that like you don't download it.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. Technology.
That's the other one that I've kind of played most of the time. Like, but it's really those, like, I'll play Minecraft. Right. A few hours here or there when I have time. Yeah. And then if I don't want, if I'm not playing that, then I'll maybe pop into Halo Wars for a little bit.
Sure.
Get my ass kicked or kick some ass.
Right.
And then it all depends on the day,
Yep.
I haven't played anything else really in a long time. So, like, justifying the cost of another console.
Right. When this checks all the boxes, like.
Right.
Wait for it. They get the pro versions or the slim versions. They're like, oh, the other one's cheaper or whatever.
Right.
At that time, then if you find the need for it, then it's there. But yeah, if everything's checking the boxes right now, there's no need for it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Totally.
I think a more powerful Xbox, the newest one that's out, I think that would be a huge upgrade from what I currently have.
Sure.
Processing wise, I could probably do a lot more in my world. But if I were to do that, I would probably just want to go to a PC.
Oh.
At that point, I wouldn't mind starting over and just keeping that on, staying in this world and just continually playing with it.
Sure.
Fiddle around with it every so often. But I've started over so many times.
Right.
I've got so many worlds right now in my list of worlds.
Yeah.
There's at least 7 that are survival.
Yep.
I've got a couple of them that are creative, just so I can go and blow stuff up and build machines and see what's happening. And there's nothing else going on in the world, so like the machine will run well.
Yeah.
I'll go into a creative world, make a circuit, and see what it does, and like intentionally break it.
Yeah.
And then try and build something, go and mess it up there, and then make a mess. I'll go make a mess there, and then I'll just delete the world.
Yep.
Go back to my original world, and then make it. And kind of figure it out.
Sure.
That way I'm not destroying this world, trying to all right, I need a flat spot, and I need to do this, I need to dig a hole. No, I need to go that high, and I need to go up. No, I need to go, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a building in the way. Shit.
Yeah, that's smart.
So I've got a couple of survival worlds where I like to just challenge myself. I've got this one where it's funny because now the world is huge, and I started out next to a village, and I was like, cool, I'm going to claim this house. So I just took a house, I kicked the villager out, I stole their bed, I dug down, and I built up, so the house is like 3 stories, and I've got a basement, and I started being inside that house, and I was like, cool, I need material, you know? Where do I go? So then I just started going one direction, and I was exploring, and I was 3,000 blocks from where my original little village was, and I've got all my stuff that I want now. I'm full. My inventory is super full. Can't do anything. So now I'm going to trek back and put it all away.
Yeah.
Start using stuff, build and expand. Lost the house.
Oh.
I was like, it's 3,000 something that way, and I got close enough to it, you know, and I know it was across this big lake, this big body of water, because I told myself I'm going to go this way, you know, and I instantly came across the body of water and was like, all right, I told myself I'm going to go this way, so I stuck to it, and I swam, and I swam, and I swam, and I swam. I was like, oh my God, what did I commit myself to?
Right.
Finally found land, and then I went and explored all of that, got all my stuff. So then I'm swimming back, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. Like I'm pretty sure I didn't turn or anything. I'm watching the numbers, and I haven't turned, and I came across an island. I was like, fuck it. So I claimed the little island, and I made this little island into my home, and it's deep. I've got basements in there and all sorts of stuff, and now I've built an underground portal and all sorts of things down there. I've got farms everywhere. I've got kelp farms. And, pretty cool little island, you know? And I kind of camouflaged it. Like, I built the house down into the ground, and, like, it's kind of covered in bushes, so it looks pretty cool.
Sure.
I was maybe 100 blocks from my original house. I was like, I gave up. You know? I was like, fuck it. So I made this new thing, and after I did that, I got all the materials I wanted, and some of it was materials to make TNT. So now I blew up the house. And all the villagers are all around or whatever, and I started killing the villagers, and then I ran into the water, and, you know, just fucking around and having fun. You know, sometimes you just I need a creative outlet. I want to build the village. I want to be methodical and, like, mathematical, and, like, cool. So if I do this, and I have a window there, and I can make it look like this, and whatever. And other times I'm just like, cool, so how far can I shoot an arrow? How many skeletons can I kill before a creeper pops up, you know, or whatever? How many creepers can I have chasing me? And I'll just kind of, like, gather as many as I can and then try to kill them all, and, like, it never works out. But it's fun. It's fun to, you know, switch it up. And the game's so versatile.
Definitely.
That, like, I don't really want to build anything right now. I just want to go kill stuff. Or, you know, I want to go actually earn my things and have to find, like, where the fuck is iron? Or where do you get iron these days? You know, you come across deep slate iron before you find any real iron or a regular iron. You're like, oh my God, I don't have iron tools. And I've just got cobblestone that's going to go through so fast. But I love that the worlds are so giant now. Infinite, technically infinite. But, like, yeah, the farther you go out, the buggier it gets.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
You know, I've gone out to 10,000, and the Xbox is like, no. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll turn around and fly back. But the updates just keep coming, man.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm curious about that great white shark. If that's going to be something that's going to come, or just a teaser, or like where it's going to be.
Sure.
But
yeah, good to see they're putting the care into it. And, keep updating it. Good job, Microsoft.
Yeah. After someone buys it, you're like,
scary.
Are you going to fuck it up? Are you going to make it worse? Are you going to sell out? Like, what's going to happen? So I'm really glad they kind of stuck to it and made it better.
Definitely.